Everyone, welcome back to CyberSecurityTV. So today we are breaking down one of the most misunderstood part of the SOC 2 compliance. It's the risk assessment. So one of the biggest things that blocks startups during the SOC 2 is the risk assessment process. Most teams think that they need some massive enterprise risk program, but in reality, auditors are looking for something much simpler. So in this video, I'll show you how to perform a practical SOC 2 risk assessment step by step, including some real world examples that I have gone through while implementing the SOC 2. So at a high level, risk assessment is very simple. So if you think of it as identify what can go wrong, understand the impact, the likelihood of if it happens, and defining how your company can reduce that risk by maybe having existing control or implementing the future. That's it. So it's not supposed to be a massive enterprise exercise filled with complicated formulas and endless documentations. This requirement exists across multiple compliance frameworks. Actually, it's the heart of all the frameworks like be it ISO, PCI, HIPAA, SOC 2, HITRUST, etc. And this is where many SMBs make simple mistakes. They turn the risk assessment into overly academic project instead of focusing on the practical operational risk. Your risk assessment should reflect your real environment, your system, your risk, and your actual security controls. The goal is clarity and consistency, not complexity. So you could have it like, a simple risk which says this is my risk. And again, none of the compliance tells you what number of risk is ideal. You could have 15 risk, or you could have 150 risk. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. There is no clear-cut requirements. It doesn't have to be complex and also massive. The first step is any risk assessment is defining your scope. So before you even identify the risk, you actually want to understand what matters to your environment. So for example, some of the system public website is not even part of your scope. Maybe the human is still part of your scope. Your production environment is in the scope. Cloud is in your scope. But maybe some sales data or sales tool that you guys are using for doesn't have any critical data is not in your scope. So define the scope. Which systems are in scope? Ask yourself simple questions. What systems are important to the business? What data are we protecting in the systems? And which business process are critical for operations? For most startups, I can tell you, the basic things you would include is your cloud environments like AWS, Azure, GCP, your customer data, production applications, and the employee laptops if you are assigning ones. One of the biggest mistakes companies make is starting a risk assessment before clearly defining the scope, because if your scope is unclear, your entire risk assessment becomes unreliable and meaningless. So keep it practical. Focus on system, people, application data that actually support your business and customer. Once your scope is defined, the next step is identifying realistic risk. So for a startup, this usually includes operational and security risks that are common in day-to-day environment. So just think of usually when I approach this risk assessment, what do I tell to my customers are close your eyes and think about what are the things which could keep you up at night in terms of security risk. And if you interview let's say 5 or 10 different people, they would at least tell you 2 or 3 things, and then that becomes your risk assessment, 20-30 items. That's as simple as that. You don't need to have massive complex framework to define what the risk assessment is. Things like phishing attacks, excessive admin access, which is quite common in the startups, misconfigured cloud storage, coding process where you don't have a clear-cut process to offboard access to everyone, lack of backups, or even have reliance on a particular vendor. One important thing is to remember here is don't try to invent sophisticated nation-state attack scenario just to make it look advanced, because as I said, auditors does not look for whether you have 150 risk or 50 risk. As long as your risk assessment is getting some value to you, and again, you don't want to do the risk assessment just because SOC 2 requires it. It should not be a check the box. It should give you some real value as well. And that's why I said just interview 5 or 10 people, ask them what is the most critical thing that keeps them up at night, and document in the risk assessment. That should be it. And again, it should be consistency, not complexity. Now once you identify the risk, the next thing is assign the likelihood or probability and impact. So what is the probability of this is happening, and what would be the impact? Now here again, you do not want to overcomplicate things. For SOC 2, simple scale usually works perfectly fine. So use low, medium, and high both for impact and likelihood. If you want to add extra layer, maybe you can do informational or critical as well. That's 5x5 metric. So let's say, for example, if your company is using shared admin accounts, and usually you have a root account in AWS, which I've seen usually being shared sometimes, or maybe system accounts. So likelihood might be high because it's very common to misuse unauthorized access to happen. And the impact is also high because the administrative access can reflect critical system and customer data. So the important thing to remember here is you do not need to complicate mathematical scoring models for calculation of the risk assessment or the risk. The auditor just want to see whether you have assigned proper impact and likelihood, whether it's medium or medium, and again, there is no way auditor can question your judgment why you have made this as a medium impact, because it's your business, in and out. So just put whatever you feel realistic to it. So keep it simple, practical, aligned with your actual environment. Now, once we have identified the risk, impact and likelihood, now let's define mitigations. Now, mitigation is needed when you say that this risk is there, you all agree that this is a risk, we don't have any actual control. Now, how do we go ahead and mitigate it, right? This is by maybe implementing some security controls or improving the operational processes. For example, if phishing is a risk, mitigation could be, okay, let's implement multi-factor authentication, or you have the single sign-on, or let's have a regular session with the employees on social awareness, social engineering, and security awareness. If excessive admin is a risk and is not mitigated, mitigation might be, okay, let's conduct regular access reviews, have some automated system to flag there is an activity which is logged or performed using that admin account, or implement least privilege accounts. For logging related risk, you could implement centralized logging or monitoring, or become that becomes important controls. For vendor, periodic vendor reviews, integrity check on the vendors and etc. So this is the most important part of the risk assessment, because this is what directly connects your risk to the actual security controls and the outcome, and also the future project plan. The goal is to show that risks are not just identified, they are actively being managed. Now, once you identify this, you can also create a Jira tickets or Notion, or track it somewhere. Now, once you have everything together, the final step is create a simple risk register. Your register should include what the risk you identified, what is the likelihood, what is the impact, what is the control mitigation plan, and what is the current status. Once that's done, so again, risk assessment is a living, breathing document, so it doesn't stop here. Your risk assessment should be reviewed periodically and updated whenever there are major changes happens in the environment. Maybe you expand your scope to another region, there are new vendors you are onboarding, or maybe there are major application changes, or you had a Series A, Series B, and now team growing, or you're hiring a bunch of people, right? So this is when you would come back and reassess the risk. For most SMB and startups, quarterly or annual review are usually more than enough. An auditor want to see the risk management process is an ongoing process, not a one-time compliance exercise. Now, what are the common mistake? So one of the common mistake I see is they're using very complex templates that don't actually match the environment. With AI, now things are easier. They can create the templates. There are a lot of templates being sold as well. Venta, Drada provides their own templates, they have the module to do risk assessment. At some point, I also find it a little bit complex as well. But again, those are much better than using the complex template. So do not download a giant enterprise risk framework from internet and try to force into their process. That usually going to create confusion and slow you down. Another common mistake is copying generic risks without understanding whether they actually apply to your business or not, because no one cares. Even you won't care. Okay, that would become a headache to you. So rather apply the actual risk. And then I also see that sometimes teams treating the risk assessment like a PR paperwork, something created only for the auditor instead of practical security exercise. As I said, if the risk assessment is not making any sense to you, or it's not worked for a business or improving the security, it's not done rightly. Also, in many cases, the assessment is never updated after major changes happen in the environment, which makes it quickly outdated. Another important issue is when the risk and controls don't align. If a risk exists, there should be a clear mitigation or controls connected to it. So each risk must have some controls connected to it. If it's not present, let's implement the control. If it's present, let's map with the control. So at the end of the day, your risk assessment should reflect your real environment, your system, and your operational reality. And this is something very, very important to remember. Auditors are not looking for a perfect risk assessment. They are looking for evidence that your company understands and manages risk consistently. That mindset alone removes huge amount of unnecessary pressure for the startups. Now, as a last step, if you want simple startup friendly risk assessment template, please reach out to contact at Securify, and I can provide you the template which you can start using it even with some common risks for the startups. So the goal is to make compliance practical and achievable for startups, not overwhelming. In the next video, we will cover some of the most misunderstood and frustrating parts of the SOC 2. How to collect audit evidence without losing your mind, right? There are just so many things collecting, so many evidence screenshots and etc. So we'll talk about the screenshot evidence automation, how you can avoid turning evidence collection into the chaos and stuff. So make sure you follow along for the next one. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel so you can keep, and also hit the bell icon so you can get alerted whenever the next video is posted. I'll try to get through the next one as soon as I can, but until then, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.